Guys, get over here. Come on. Get over. You know, a simple no would have been just fine. So Mortal Kombat is the latest film to be adapted from a video game, and it's the third Mortal Kombat film. No, we are not going to talk about Annihilation. In Mortal Kombat, we follow an original character named Cole Young, who has been chosen as one of Earth's mightiest warriors to fight against the warriors of Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Mortal Kombat! Come on guys, you knew that was coming at some point.
Excellent!
When it comes to Mortal Kombat, for those of you who don't know, Mortal Kombat is my favorite fighting game franchise of all time. I mean, I cannot tell you all how many hours I have put into these games. I mean, seriously, the hours I put into Mortal Kombat is just countless to say the least. I actually quite like 1995's Mortal Kombat, and while to be fair, it's not a great movie by a long shot. It's not a great movie by a long shot. However, at the same time, in terms of video game adaptations, I still think that 95's Mortal Kombat is still the best video game adaptation of all time, despite my disdain for Paul W.S. Anderson. And Mortal Kombat Annihilation, just hell no. When I heard that they were making a brand new Mortal Kombat film, I was a bit 50-50, but more leaning on towards the positive, because here's the thing. I feel like that in most recent years, video game adaptations have gotten better and better. I mean, despite Monster Hunter being absolutely fucking terrible, films like Sonic the Hedgehog, Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and I know there's a couple of more I'm not thinking of, but those two films specifically showed me that, hey, it seems that they're finding their footing slowly, but still finding their footing. But then I saw the trailer, and I thought the trailer showed a lot of promise, even though, do not get me wrong, the story for the trailer seemed a bit generic, to which, don't worry, I'll get into that later on. However, with that being said, I didn't walk into Mortal Kombat expecting a great story. All I wanted from Mortal Kombat was one thing: a dumb, bloody, and violent movie. And I thought that, for the most part, it succeeded. Going on to the performances. Now, be real with me, guys. Are you going into Mortal Kombat expecting great performances? Seriously, be real with me. I mean, they're fine. I mean, there are some performances to which I thought were very forgettable, to which I'll go into later, but still, the performances in Mortal Kombat aren't particularly great. With that being said, there were a couple of standouts. One, I can't remember the two actors' names who played Sub-Zero and Scorpion. I thought they were great. I mean, Scorpion I wanted to see so much more of. Scorpion is one of my favorite Mortal Kombat characters. Not quite my favorite, but he's still in like my top 3. Scorpion's opening scene was so badass, I wish the movie was primarily centered around him. But when he is on screen, Scorpion, oh my god. Also, Sub-Zero, I thought that Sub-Zero was completely badass, and every time that he and Scorpion were on screen, I could not stop smiling. Something else that I will say is this, and part of this I will share for later, but Liu Kang and Kung Lao, some of their dialogue did have me laughing quite a bit. However, the main standout for me in this movie was Josh Lawson as Kano. Josh Lawson completely owned it as Kano. Every time he was on screen, I feel like he just ate up the scenery, and I thought he completely embodied Kano with the shit talking, getting, I mean, oh my god. Josh Lawson as Kano was so good that I could not wait to hear the dialogue that was going to come out next. I really believe that a lot of people who are going into Mortal Kombat are expecting badass, brutal, and gory fights, and I really felt that for the most part, the action in Mortal Kombat was not only pretty darn gory, but a lot of fun. Starting off with that opening action sequence with Scorpion trying to get back to his family, I mean, that action sequence was... The fight scenes in Mortal Kombat, I felt like that for the most part were very well done. Maybe 60 or 70% of the fights in Mortal Kombat were really well done. Well choreographed, they're well shot, and they got so damn brutal. I mean, there were a couple of fight sequences in which, when I heard those hits, and by the way, I saw this in an IMAX screen, and my god, that was a lot of fun. Seeing the blood happening on screen, just knowing that this was a first-time director, this was not a bad first effort. In fact, I would like to see this guy doing more. I mean, obviously, There is some improvement to be made because this was his directorial debut. But with that being said, however, I thought that Simon McQuoid, I think that's his name, I really do think that for Simon McQuoid's first time directing gig, I thought he did a not so bad job with the fight sequences in this movie. Another thing that I really liked about Mortal Kombat is the world building and what they have started with in this movie. This is a world that I really think that Simon McQuoid and the screenwriters have really built up really nicely. The tone of this movie, and as well as the locations that I've visited, shows so much potential of not only a sequel, but dare I say a franchise. In particular, the final shot of this movie. As somebody say this, as a fan of the games, I cannot wait for a sequel. Going on to the technical aspects, not only did I think that the film was pretty well shot for the most part, but the music by Benjamin Wallfish I thought was pretty darn cool.
Well, that's just fucking great!
With all of that being said, is Mortal Kombat a particularly good movie? Performances-wise, minus the standouts of this movie, all the other actors were either or just not believable, to be honest. Jax, I thought was fine. Sonya Blade, I thought was okay. Liu Kang and Kung Lao, even though they had some good dialogue, the performances, again, I didn't really find them really that memorable. Raiden, I thought was just fine. Shang Tsung didn't really have that much to do in this movie. And in terms of characters themselves, Cole Young, or yeah, I think that's his name. See, that's how forgettable this character is. As I was watching this movie, I kept on getting his name mixed up. I completely get that they want to make something original for this movie. I mean, this kind of reminded me of, remember how in Resident Evil they had Alice played by Mila Jovovich, who was an original character? That's what this reminded me of, except that here's the thing, at least, I can't believe I'm about to do a nice comparison here. At least with Alice, even though they completely screwed up that reveal in the final chapter, there was at least some mystery and intrigue with Alice's character. Where here with Cole Young, I just didn't care about this character whatsoever. Louis Tan was just bland, like he came off as this generic fighter in all honesty. The story in this movie was really generic, and I honestly didn't find myself caring all that much for what was going on, especially for, well, Cole Young, should I say. If you guys have played a lot of the Mortal Kombat games, or in fact all the Mortal Kombat games, you will all know that each character has their own special abilities. I completely get that when you're adapting anything into a film, not everything can carry over, but at least make the things that you adapt make sense. This particular thing, I can't really say it because of spoilers, but there is one crucial thing that they changed from the video games to the film that I thought was just stupid. It may not seem that big, but trust me, if you have played the game, it's pretty big. There were more than a couple of fights that went from being amazing, well choreographed fights to close-up, quick cutting action. In particular, there was a fight that takes place in the third act that, honest to God, I could not tell you what the fuck was going on. For the character designs, Reptile, why did you make him look like that? This version of Mortal Kombat is rated R, which is great. But here's the thing, Mortal Kombat isn't rated R for all the blood. In fact, this movie isn't really that much of a bloody movie minus the fatalities, which are gory, do not get me wrong. Mortal Kombat is rated R because of all the fucks, because of Kano, which, don't get me wrong, Kano is hilarious in this movie. I want me some motherfucking blood along with the fatalities. I would have welcomed buckets of blood and gore.
And here we go.
So overall, Mortal Kombat isn't particularly a great film, nor particularly is it a good film per se. At the same time though, I did have a lot of fun with this movie, and that's exactly what I wanted. There were a few things about this movie that I thought were dumb, and there were a couple of changes from the games into the film that kind of angered me as a fan. At the same time though, like I mentioned, not only did I have a lot of fun, I liked the world that they have built, I liked the things that they have teased, and because of all that, I genuinely do want to see a sequel and maybe a franchise. There is so much potential that I do want to see more. And because of that reason, all in all, I'm going to give Mortal Kombat a 3 out of 5. Now, once again, I don't think this is particularly a good film per se. The film, I think, does just enough to warrant a 3 out of 5. Alrighty guys, so comment down below and let me know, who is your favorite Mortal Kombat character of all time? Mine? My boy Johnny Cage. but for you, let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Mortal Kombat. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever the latest video of mine goes live. If you guys want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click it right there or there. And of course, until my next video or review, I'll see you all next time.